everyone, it's Laura and I hope you're all doing well. So for those of y'all who are new to my channel, I'm a registered dietitian and I love making videos about food and nutrition. So today I thought we would talk about why diets don't work and what you should do instead of dieting. So let's get started. So as a dietitian, one of my previous jobs, one of my roles was to work as an outpatient dietitian in a clinic primarily for individuals who needed to lose weight before they could receive a solid organ transplant. These recommendations or these tips are knowledge that I gained from that job. The reason diets don't work is because you're doing short-term things and expecting long-term results. So you're cutting back on things in the short term, you're doing things for a few months, but yet you're expecting for it to last a lifetime. Part of it's realizing, okay, I'm wanting to lose weight and I'm wanting it to last a lifetime. So what are the things that I need to do in order to ensure that happens and to create habits and to create ways to allow that to transpire. Let's talk about tips and things that you can do to make those changes that do last a lifetime. So my first tip, and I can't emphasize this enough, and this is one of the first things that I would talk to my clients and patients about, is to understand that foods aren't either good or bad. Right? There's this, say you're talking about cake and you say that's a bad food, or say you're talking about an apple and that's a good food. Eliminating that mindset and focusing more on how those foods make you feel. So, okay, that cake, that's gonna give me a really high sugar rush and then it's just gonna make me crash and it's gonna make me really tired and it's gonna give me a headache. And making those correlations between, okay, I just ate 2 slices of pizza and drank 6 beers and I feel really crappy. And making those associations versus, okay, I just ate this healthy, fresh, wholesome meal and I feel great. You know, I don't feel bloated, I don't feel constipated, I'm having regular bowel movements, I have good energy, I feel good, I feel like my mind is really clear and I don't feel foggy. I don't get those sugar rushes of really high highs and low lows and low drops. And learning more, correlating more of how you feel when you consume certain foods versus labeling them as good versus labeling them as bad. When I open the fridge and you're making the decision of what to eat for that meal, for me, I'm like, I have a lot to get done today. I want something that's gonna give me good energy, that's gonna make me feel good, that's not gonna make me tired, and that's gonna keep me going and allow me to get the things done today that I need to get done. And when you feel good, that's your motivation to keep treating your body well. My next tip, and I can't stress this enough because it's super simple and I know you've heard it, but actually implementing it, you will be shocked at how big of a difference it makes, is focusing on small changes that lead to big results. And I'm gonna list them right here. So some of the small changes that I've seen people make that have led to big results, the first one is what you drink. If you're someone who you drink a lot of high calorie beverages, simply switching it to water or unsweetened tea, whether it's black, green, herbal tea, whatever type of tea it is, switching it to a beverage that doesn't have many calories in it will make such big changes. The next one is to watch your cheese consumption. Because people love their cheese and they will hold on to it like so tightly. But cheese is just pure fat. It's empty calories. It doesn't have any nutrition in it. It adds up super, super quickly. There's a lot of calories in a small amount of cheese. So just cutting back on the cheese, taking the cheese off, you know, still having your pasta, but not loading it with Parmesan, not loading it with mozzarella, just watching your cheese consumption because people really, really love their cheese and they'll add a lot to a dish. Decreasing the cheese or eliminating your cheese will drastically cut back on the amount of calories that you are consuming, and it will help you lose weight, I promise. The next one is booze. So and this goes with my first tip about high calorie beverages, but you can spend your whole week eating great and doing an excellent job, and then on the weekends you drink a bunch of beer or drink a lot of wine that has a decent amount of calories in it. And yeah, people say it has antioxidants, but like you can get all that stuff from either A, other fermented foods, or B, grapes. You know, wine's made from grapes. Please watch your booze consumption. If there's a football game going on, I understand wanting to go and have a couple beers, have a couple glasses of wine with your friends, but don't have that extra glass just because. You know, like drink until, just have one or two, you know, like be feeling good. That's fine if that's your thing, but don't overdo it. Don't be pushing it to 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't have a whole case of beer, please. Especially if you're trying to get healthy and to lose weight and to feel your best. Then after those couple glasses of wine, that next day you are not going to feel on par. You're not going to feel like meal prepping. You're not going to feel like exercising. And that's going to be the Sunday or the Saturday that you've set aside to meal prep, and you're not going to do it because you feel like crap. So please watch your booze. My last tip that I'm going to list right here is to focus on vegetables. So vegetables are so high in nutrition. They're insanely high in fiber. They're super, super good for you. And I guarantee if you focus on consuming vegetables and you make that your priority, you're going to lose weight and you're going to feel better, plain and simple. For me, my favorite things to do with veggies, I love fresh vegetables. I also like frozen vegetables. That's insanely easy. So just put some frozen vegetables on a pan, put them in the oven and roast them. Super easy. Something I did this week is I got sweet potatoes and I bought broccoli and I put them on a pan. You can add garlic, you can add onion, you can add whatever you want. I just did Italian seasoning, garlic powder, and black pepper, and put it in the oven, roasted for 20 minutes on 400 degrees, and I've been eating on that all week. You know, like sweet potatoes and broccoli. Add some quinoa to it. I like pumpkin seeds. I love pumpkin seeds and cashews. Lately, which this is super random because I've never been into this, but the dried cranberries. Lately, I've been adding some of those to it. Add some hemp seeds. Super easy. That took me like 10 minutes to prep. Put it on a sheet, and my veggies are good for the next few days. Okay, so now that I've done my little tips, my next big tip is to exercise. There's a million excuses out there to not exercise, but it kind of goes hand in hand with what I was saying about associating food with how it makes you feel. You know, like sweet potatoes make me feel good, so I eat them all the time. Exercising makes me feel good, so I do it. Once you get in the routine of exercising, then you crave it. And the excuse of not having time, so the other day I felt overwhelmed. I felt like I didn't have any time, and I have 8-pound weights sitting over there, and I've been lifting a lot of weights lately. I've been doing more weight resistant exercises because I messed up my Achilles, and so I haven't been able to run. So I've been lifting weights and doing yoga, and I have 8-pound weights over there, and it was my arm day. And so I did my exercises right here, and I was sore the next day. You know, like, whereas at the gym, you know, sometimes I'll use 8 pounds and then a different exercise I'll do 10 and then another one 12. Well, I only had 8. And so there were some exercises I did 10 reps, some exercises I did 15 reps. And I adjusted it based on only having 8-pound weights. You know, I didn't make the excuse, oh, I don't have time. I only have 8-pound weights. I also need a 12-pound weight to do this, you know, like, instead I held both 8s and did it, and my freaking triceps are sore. But trying to eliminate the excuses, because nowadays there are 10-minute HIIT workouts on YouTube. You can, like, that literally took me 15 minutes to do my arm exercises at home because I didn't have to wait on a machine. No one was on the machine I wanted to do. I could just get it done. I will say, so whenever I started lifting weights, it can be intimidating, understand that, going to the gym. I mean, I'm going over and like there's men with like 80-pound weights and I'm like, ah. And I totally understand that. But once you figure out exactly what you're gonna do and you have a plan and you walk into that gym and you know what you're gonna do, then it's not overwhelming. So I strongly encourage you, if you're someone who you don't wanna go to the gym because you find it overwhelming or you're intimidated, come up with a plan before you go. And I literally have workouts that I just rotate. You know, like I go to the gym and at this point, I don't even have to think about it. I know what I'm about to do, but it did take some figuring out of that. So I encourage you, make exercise a priority, plan out your workouts. You don't even have to go to the gym. You can literally do it at home, but making weightlifting and cardio a priority. Yes. My last tip is to stop overthinking every little thing about the food that you eat. If the majority of the time you're making healthy choices, the majority of the time you're focusing on consuming the foods that make you feel good, then when you consume the foods that maybe don't make you feel as good, then it doesn't impact you as much. So if I've been consuming foods that are energizing, that are wholesome, that are awesome, and then I go to a party and they have some Oreos and I have a couple Oreos, then I don't feel the negative effects of eating those as much because I have consumed healthy foods the rest of the day. But if I overthought eating those Oreos, if I didn't eat them because I was just in my head and overthinking it, then I wouldn't enjoy them as much. You know, like I'd be so anxious. I'd feel so guilty about eating them. I would think about, I would just overwhelm myself. But instead, I wanted a couple Oreos. I wanted a few Oreos, so I had some Oreos, you know, like, and not feeling guilty about it or making it seem like you just ruined everything because you consumed something that maybe wasn't a part of your plan. Try and relax a little bit, you know, and not be so rigid, because you can't spend your whole life being rigid about food. You know, you to some degree have to be flexible, and you have to just live your life. And yeah, I understand wanting to be healthy, wanting to be fit. Maybe if you're wanting to lose weight, you know, I understand where you're coming from, but if it's consuming a few Oreos and satisfying, you know, whatever part of your soul or whatever part of you that wanted that, satisfying that, and then, you know, not dwelling on it, but just moving on, you know, and the next morning starting back on drinking your smoothie or, you know, eating your oatmeal or whatever, you know, healthy foods it is that energizes you, then long term it'll last. It's not going to work if every time you consume something and it wasn't a part of your plan, you feel guilty. Then you're going to get tired of feeling that way and you're just going to resort back to your old habits. And so trying to not overthink every little thing and being easy on yourself. Yeah, so those are all my tips. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video and got something out of it. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. I love hearing from y'all, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.